Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
It's time. Harry, are you ready? We're going to talk Man United. You prepared for this?
Yes, I am. Deep breath.
Well, it was a big week for the club, of course. Erik Ten Hag. This was announced by Sky Sports this week. Very close, we think. So this is what Sky Sports announced officially. Man United's appointment of Erik Ten Hag as the next manager is all but done, with only a signing of the contract and straightforward agreement with Ajax remaining to complete the process. The deal is expected to be on an initial 3-year basis with an option to enforce an additional 12 months. Harry, massive Man United fan. Your thoughts when you heard this?
Very happy. I think there's been talk about Ten Hag or Pochettino being the next Man United manager. For me, I feel like I've watched Ten Hag's progress with Ajax very closely over the Champions League campaign as well. And I think the way he looks at football, I think, is what we need. We need someone
to you, yeah.
suited. It's not even suited to United, because right now we haven't had a style of play for a while. But I think that's what we need, and I think he's part of that new gen or crop of managers like Klopp and Pep, who are just total football. And I think if we can have someone like that on that stature at our club, I think it can change the narrative of how United have been over the last 10 years.
Yeah, fascinating to see how this one unfolds, isn't it? Well, you can see there, the Saturday Social whiteboard is out in all of its glory. So we've got Harry and we've got Theo, two huge names in the YouTube scene, it's fair to say. So we're going to get their thoughts on a bit of a Man United tier list for this one, but there's a bit of a twist for this. So these are all issues we think Ten Hag will face, but there's some important criteria. So do you want to explain the rules there?
Indeed, with Ten Hag very close to joining Manchester United. We all know there have been a lot of issues, kind of so-called problems, big talking points that both pundits and obviously fans at home have spoken about on social media. So we've printed 10 of the biggest issues that we think Ten Hag will have to face as Manchester United manager. Now, this could be relating to players, the owners, or more kind of wider general stuff. Now, it is going to be up to our guests, Harry and Theo, to place all 10 magnets on the whiteboard in order of priority for next season. So obviously, 1 being the most important issue, 5 being the least important issue. Now, you can put 2 magnets in each category, and it's essentially as simple as that. Now, our first one, a big talking point, splits opinion, Cristiano Ronaldo. Is he an issue? And a big one at that.
Do you know what's crazy, yeah? Forgive me, because Ronaldo is a club legend and, our highest goal scorer for United, but I don't think that us buying him was something that was going according to our plan at the time. I think we bought him because we felt like he was going to go City. I don't think he's going to develop the younger players. I don't think that the position that he's in allows the younger players like the Elangas or even Rashford to have an opportunity to play where they are suited to. So I don't think Ronaldo should be there next season. I think he's done what he can do, and what he can do for me isn't at the level that he should be or was before. So
he's the highest goal scorer, 18 goals.
But where are we in the league? Do you know what I'm saying? And has he helped us, in domestic games, in the big games? Has he been integral? Hasn't.
Spurs?
So he
did big games. I said big games.
Oh, very true. You see the league table?
Very true.
Oh yeah. So for me, I think that's got to be something that he sorts out, because I think if Ronaldo's at that club for next season, we're going to be in the same position.
Okay, so where do you put him? As Zac says, 1 is the most
Theo, what do you
highest
think?
priority.
I don't
5 is the
think...
least. Theo, what are your thoughts on Ronaldo as a neutral? Because it is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ronaldo's situation.
Personally, I don't think Ten Hag's going to waste any time.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be in the team.
Yeah.
I think he'll get him gone this summer. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Wow.
There's no time to waste. He's not the future of the club. So I'd go straight to 1.
Yeah, I agree, because I think...
1?
For me,
biggest priority.
Because he's the biggest player at the club. And like, again, for me, if you're going to base the team around Ronaldo, aging Ronaldo, I think that says a lot about where we're going to be, and I don't think Ten Hag's thinking.
Well, speaking of players, you've got another player in your hand, and another player that splits opinion as well. Paul Pogba, joined in 2016, of course, 29 years of age now, 1 goal, 9 assists this season for United on big wages as well. It splits opinion not just with football fans, but with Man United fans as well. A lot of, you can see his technical ability, but obviously there's the consistency issue. Where do you stand with Paul Pogba?
I think, with Paul Pogba, he's been a victim of his own success, and I say that because we expect a lot from the player. He plays well for France. We know how he was for Juventus, won the World Cup. Yeah. But United as a team haven't been great. So whatever player has come to United hasn't actually achieved the level of success that we think and we expect them to do. So I think he's just a scapegoat. I think under a manager who understands his qualities, like how Didier Deschamps does, and he does so well for them, we'll see the best of Pogba. I don't think his story at United's over yet, me personally.
Obviously, his contract runs out at the end of this season, Theo. Are you giving him a new deal
but it may
if he accepts it?
it's a good point, but it may work under Ten Hag.
Yeah.
You never know.
I believe
the
in
expansive football, attacking style. I was at Ajax Dortmund where they won 4-0 in the Champions League. Dortmund had Haaland. And the way Ajax played it suits Pogba. I think when he's allowed to have time on the ball and create, if he's given that role and he gets a solid deal with Manchester United in the future, it could really work out.
You would keep him under
I don't think it's a one.
£300,000 a week.
It's not a top problem.
I think honestly,
3 or 4.
It's a 3.
Okay.
I think it's in the middle because again, like this could be where
work.
he saves face, and because up until now it hasn't been the greatest career for him so far at United, and he knows that as well.
But he always wants to make it work.
100%.
Yeah.
It's very well for France when they have Kante sitting and Pogba's allowed to go forward.
Exactly.
Give him freedom.
Changes.
I think
Let him
once you
roam.
sign a holding midfielder,
Okay, it might unlock Paul Pogba.
Exactly.
Well, another
Declan
player. Well, we'll have to wait and see with our fingers. But another player
next magnet.
that might need unlocking
Yeah.
is Marcus Rashford, 24 years old. His contract expires at the end of 2023 season. Does have an option for another year to be activated if needed. Been there since 2005. How big of an issue has Marcus Rashford been this season?
I think form-wise, it's been way below the level that we all expect Rashford to be at. Again, another player that is playing under a team that, your Siri knows.
Zach?
So, apologies.
Yes, Siri agrees. But my point is, it's like
Do not disturb, mate. Put it on.
I feel like with Rashford, like we're seeing low quality playing from a player who we believe could be better, and I just think again Ten Hag can probably get the best out of him in it. So,
If you can keep ad-libbing while Zach turns his watch off, that'd be great. Harry.
So I'm definitely going with Rashford staying. I think it's number 3 as well. I don't think it's
Number 3,
Yeah.
agree with that?
I think Rashford should go and try something new.
You disagree with that?
But I don't think it's a top issue.
No,
I think we've got to save spaces for more serious problems on that list of
But
cards.
you would sell Rashford if you were Ten Hag, just to confirm that?
Yes, I
Okay.
would. Because I just think he's had very good days, but the bad days are really creeping up on him,
I still think
with the
he's
fans
young.
as well. I know he's young.
He has
but
had a
that's
lot of
why
injuries
for
recently
his
too.
career,
Yeah, worth pointing out the injuries as well.
Who knows, PSG, if they
Okay,
if
so
they're
you're
not
saying 3. So
Yeah,
put him on 3. Let's move on to the next issue, which is captaincy. Obviously, Harry
Yeah.
Maguire being captain. Harry Maguire had a fantastic Euros, didn't he?
He did indeed.
Obviously, this season, the form hasn't been what it was for England in the summer. Where do you stand with the captaincy and how important that will be for Ten Hag? Does he stick with Harry Maguire, do you think?
I think that's for Ten Hag to find out who he thinks can lead the team. I think when you're a captain and you're not leading by example, playing-wise, I think it's an issue. And I think he hasn't been the best this season at all. I think he hasn't had the season that he probably hoped he would have coming off from the Euros. But I think, keeping him as a captain for this season is great. But I think he has to assess it for next season and find out exactly what's wrong and what's been happening.
Who would be your captain then? If Ronaldo's leaving, obviously he may be the next kind of general one you'd think. Who would be your captain after Maguire?
It's tough because Varane gives me, he's more experienced, but he doesn't play as much. I think
Been injured quite a bit.
with Maguire, the amount of games he plays, it's right that he is the captain. It's just the performances haven't matched, obviously, the level that we think he should be. So for now, I think he has to find it. I don't even know anyone in that team bar David De Gea who I could say is a captain. But then
What would you do with the captaincy?
I'd keep it with Maguire.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would argue against that, but who's a better option? People are suggesting Ronaldo, but we've just put him number 1 on that list.
Yeah.
So I can't say Ronaldo. I think Maguire for England is real top class. I was very disappointed when he got booed in the England shirt. I've seen him as an England fan do great things for
During
us.
the Euros,
And I'm sure under a new manager, he can bring it back. I know he's a good player. There's a real good player in that.
I think as well, what we're talking about Pogba as well, I think Maguire falls into that category of, yes, neither of them have had their best seasons, but I feel like Maguire's similar in that he always gets singled out for criticism.
Scapegoated.
I know it's not his best season, but it's always like everyone on social media jumps on Harry Maguire whenever United concede a goal.
It's like a trend, isn't it?
Yeah,
To-
it
to
is.
get
I
on
was
that.
on the train in Germany to the Berlin derby, and people were joking about Maguire.
Yeah, I think it's quite
I feel bad
unfair.
for him.
That. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think that people always get on his back a little bit, and it's worth pointing out that he, as I said, was great for England in the Euros. But
Brilliant.
you're putting the captaincy.
I don't think it's the main.
issue.
I don't think it's a big issue. For me,
Remember as well, there's 2 in each. You can only have 2 in each.
But the reason
category.
why I say it's not a big thing because the captain, it's like nobody's playing well at United right now. So I don't think that's the main issue about who's our captain, who's leading us out, because our captain isn't playing well, neither is someone else who should be the captain. So for me personally, that's not the main thing.
Yeah,
OK, then, moving on to our fifth point then, we're going to talk about the mentality at Manchester United. Now, Man United have only won 9 points this season after going behind. That's worse than Brentford, Brighton and Newcastle. They've also joint third for most goals conceded after 90 minutes.
Why are you smiling with that? Look at that.
I know. You're getting too much joy in this.
A little bit of pleasure.
Again? Just,
a little bit of pleasure. More just worried about Siri going off, to be honest. That did stress me out. Indeed. But yeah, so mentality. How much of an issue is that at Manchester United this season?
Well, Thea, I think you agree as well. I think it's the most important thing. I think when we was, glory days with Fergie, our mentality was, you could see it when they came off the pitch. It was even scary to go to Old Trafford. Now that's completely changed. It's been eradicated. And I think for a long time, we've just literally been like a team where teams can go to and think, we can get 3 points. And the way we play, the facts that, things coming out of the club, it's just a different mentality that Man United fans of old are used to. That needs to change completely.
I want to get Theo's thoughts on this as a non-Man United fan. The mentality issue is one that has been spoken about so often with pundits, as you said, with people on social media. What do you make about the mentality at Man United right now, and how big an issue is it for you?
It's number one by far. I think it's the worst.
The biggest issue at Man United?
The biggest issue at Manchester United. Ever since Sir Alex moved on, every manager that's come in has not been able to maximise what Manchester United should be bringing in, trophies on a regular, one of the biggest clubs in the world. And the reason for that is you've got to look at the players. How many times can you sack a manager and blame him? Because the players' mentality is wrong. Until that changes, nothing's going to happen. So that's number one for me.
Wow, both in agreement. There we go with mentality.
First time,
Let's move on to signings. Now, obviously, Man United have spent a lot of money, 611 million spent in 5 seasons. They've spent the second highest net in the last 5 seasons, which is an average of 75 million per season. I think it's around about the £1 billion mark since Sir Alex left. So they have spent money. So with regards to Ten Hag coming in, we believe that it's close to. How important is new signings, or is it about the type of signings they get? Because it's not like they haven't spent money before, Harry, is it?
Type of signings, signings that the manager actually wants and feels like can actually benefit his style of play that he wants to implement into the club. I think for a long time we've bought players like Fellaini and Schneiderlin that didn't really fit the mould for Manchester United. There's this type of Manchester United player, and I don't think those players were. And I think with Ten Hag, I hope that he's able to have full control over this. Also get rid of players as well. We've got players that have overstayed their welcome, I guess, as Man United players, if we're being honest. A bit older now, it hasn't worked for them. This is the most important thing, because this is a statement of how we're going to start the next season. So I think this is very, very important for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. However, with signings, I think a big factor for why it hasn't been working is because not having a director of football, you don't really know who's the one to choose players. I wouldn't actually blame the type of signings. I think a lot of those signings you've made, it could have worked if they had the right people around them.
I disagree. I disagree, because I look at players like Schneiderlin and Fellaini, and I feel like we bought them where they was at the best that they could possibly get to. Fellaini at Everton and Schneiderlin at Southampton. When they came to us, the level was too high. And it shows when, you're playing teams like City and Chelsea, and you see the levels that they're at, and you compare it to what we've got. And I feel like we've always been years behind the bigger clubs. And I feel like they've developed right, because like you said, they might have a sporting director, technical director who is doing the brains behind it. And I don't think we've got that.
But more recently, you have bought Sancho, Wan-Bissaka, Varane. Like, these are guys who they're highly rated.
But then
Van der Beek.
Our mentality hasn't been right. So these players have come in, played well at their clubs, but then come to us, and then it's just been like forms of dipped.
That's why you've got to look at the staff.
So everything. I think there's a lot of stuff going wrong.
So in terms of the board then, where do you put signings and the importance of that? Number 2, so still important.
I think it's
not as important as mentality.
Where are you thinking, Theo?
And Ronaldo.
I would have put 3, but we've used all the positions.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Because these boys, they mean everything to me. Do you know what I mean? They mean everything to me.
The next one then.
Indeed. Moving on to our next one, Manchester United is known for their academy. Now, how big of an issue is the academy for Ten Hag? Is he meant to integrate players? We've seen Marcus Rashford is one of those boys, McTominay is another one that plays. You've got some very talented guys in the academy. James Garner's killing it for Nottingham Forest this season. So how big of an issue is the academy for Ten Hag?
I don't think it's an issue because we've got a great academy. We've got a lot of players that have come through the academy, from like Tena Mengi to Anthony Elanga. So it's a good academy. It's about how we're going to implement that as well. And I think this is why I put mentality at the top, because they've got to see something that's going to make them say, you know what, this is the way we're playing. This is the way we need to play. So I wouldn't say it's the main issue right now. I think the first team is the main priority for me. I think that's what we need to focus on. Then we can talk about the academy. So I would put that probably at the bottom for now. Because I don't think
I put it 5.
Fine, you both agree. We'll put it straight at 5 and move on. You agree with that, Theo?
Yeah,
5?
I don't think that's an issue at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move straight on to the next one then. Now, the owners, obviously, it's not Ten Hag's issue to look after the owners. We're talking about the relationship between manager and owners. A lot of fans are quite vocal about the relationship between the owners, the Glazers, the dividends, the relationship they've had with the manager. So how important is that relationship for Ten Hag going forward?
I think it's important. Of course, the owners are essentially the ones who basically pay for everything. So you kind of need a good relationship with them. But I'm thinking back to when Man United was under Fergie and we had the Glazers as well. And I don't think it was that much of an issue because we was doing so well on the pitch. So I think
Fergie seemed to have more of a connection with the owners.
That's the thing, because it was kind of Fergie's club before they came in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like,
they let Fergie do his thing.
And
now they're trying to take a bit of the decisions and it's not going right. That's why you need Ten Hag to have full control like Sir Alex did.
Yeah, but I just think for now, there's more important things than the owners.
Would he get
right
full
now.
control, though? Because
No,
they've
he
had
won't.
big managers in the past. Do you think Erik Ten Hag will get full control, like in your words?
Maybe gradually, if it starts to work out. But he's going to have to accept that it's Manchester United Football Club. They're not just going to give it to him, right? I'd like to see Rangnick take a footballing director position as well, and for them to start filling out different roles and be properly run again, because that will slowly go towards giving Ten Hag more power and getting back to success. Yeah. But in terms of an issue, how do we rank this, do you reckon?
That's what I was thinking. I don't think it's a main issue. Other fans would say different.
Yeah,
a
lot of process.
I would put it at the top, but I also believe that we need to focus on what's happening on the pitch. And on the pitch is the most important thing for me. Then we can focus on behind the scenes and all that other stuff. At the end of the day, the 90 minutes isn't about Glazers, it's about the football team. But I think I would put it here for now.
5. Okay.
Yeah, for now.
The owner's not an issue for you.
Do you know why? Because
Okay.
the next few things are very much important and it's got to do with the pitch.
Okay, so owners not...
Well, you mention it. This one, our ninth one even, is about winning trophies. How important of an issue is that? The last trophy Manchester United won, 2017, the League Cup and Europa League. Then 2016, FA Cup. Last Premier League was 2013. Do you guys just need to win a League Cup, get it in there? 2 straight away.
Now, the reason why I'm putting it there is because, again, the DNA of Manchester United is to win trophies and compete with the best, yeah?
Okay.
We haven't done so, like you said, for a long time. Last time we won a Premier League was 2013. Don't know why you mentioned that. But for me, it's like the mentality has to be that, and we need to deliver that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think with all of these 3 things, more importantly...
Link into each other.
They all link into each other, and I think they all will allow for other things to start to marinate, and then we can start discussing other things. But we need trophies. We need to be competing.
You know, so I was quite quiet with the winning. As a Spurs fan, as a winning trophies, I thought, I'll let Zac take this one, because I can't really talk about that.
What are your thoughts on trophies, obviously?
As a Bolton fan, it's pretty tough to back.
Yes.
I think this one's for you, Zac.
Yeah, I mean trophies are important.
And also, with the last magnet, they sort of go hand in hand. So the last magnet is top 4 back in the Champions League. So this is the debate a lot of football fans have.
Indeed.
Would you rather say win the FA Cup or be back in the Champions League and finish top 4? What is more important? So obviously it's not an issue Man United have had to face for years. But as a United fan, what is more important, say, next season to get back in the top 4?
Trophies.
And obviously still in top 4 now, but or win a trophy.
Man. It's trophy, Smithy. I'm looking at, like, if I'm a young player coming through the academy and what we're pushing for is top 4, it's very mediocre, especially with how massive the club is. Top 4 is great to challenge, but to be in it. But if we're not challenging for it, it's basically we're playing just to get experience.
But do you not think playing in the Champions League every season, like giving your young players and players experience playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich,
but getting knocked out, getting knocked out by the teams that we get knocked out isn't a good experience. My point is, I feel like once you get the mentality of understanding how to win trophies, this is the hardest trophy to win in Europe, is the Champions League. We're not there yet. So I think focusing on getting into the Champions League is great from financial aspects of it, but in terms of winning things, that's what the club is missing.
But you only attract the best players from playing in the Champions League.
Not really, because we've attracted some of the best players and we haven't even looked like winning the Champions League. Ronaldo came and we was...
Would you argue these are the best players, though? Look at your team right now. Do you have the best players in the world?
Well, for me personally, Pogba, when he plays for France, is arguably one of the best in the world.
What about the rest of the team?
I think we've got great players, but just not a good team.
Some of your fans want a full squad rerun.
I do. I want us to get rid of a lot of players, but the players that I've mentioned, like all three of I don't think we need to get rid of them. I think we need to have the right manager for these players who understands how to play these players, because obviously from the outside looking in, it looks like there's an issue, but he will know how to deal with them.
I somewhat agree, but you still need some big players in.
I do,
and that all connects with Champions League.
Theo, you disagree with Harry?
I think top four is more
as a
important.
neutral, you think top four is more important than winning a trophy?
An FA Cup, yeah. But I know we had this discussion before.
My trophies is Premier League and Champions League. This is just top four. Top four. How many other teams finishing? Like Arsenal finishing in the top four near enough all their time and haven't won. They was more excited about winning the FA Cup than finishing top four. And that says a lot about when you go to a club and when you finish and you retire as a football player, it's not about how many times you finish in top four. You look about how many trophies I won.
That's correct. But if you can build it up and get into the Champions League, start winning games, proving you're a solid side.
To be honest though, Theo, this could swap. We could swap Champions League with Rashford or Pogba.
Give it 3.
I'm just saying that these are the players that we currently have now that could guide us to get to a certain level. And
but if you connect that with signings, Champions League and signings come together for me personally to attract the best.
There we go.
If you were sitting here, I mean, you could take over.
So there is confirmation of Harry's order of priority for Erik ten Hag, should he be appointed as we expect. The biggest priorities for Harry as a Man United fan are Ronaldo and the mentality of the squad, the academy and the ownership, interestingly, not an issue or the least priority for Harry. Theo, just quickly, thoughts on that?
Overall, I agree with the 1 and 2. I agree with most of it. We've disagreed 1 or 2 times.
Yeah. Okay.
But for the overall, it's pretty simple that a lot needs to change at the club.
Yeah.
And it starts with mentality. That is the key.